Remember me. So after so long, the UK has finally released Coco. I've been waiting for this film for so long. It was released in Mexico back in October, and then basically the rest of the world in November, and then now the UK decides to release it at the end of January. So I've been waiting for a long time. I finally saw it, and honestly, it was incredible. And before I continue, there are no spoilers in this review, so feel free to watch, and it is a safe environment. I'm not going to spoil it for you. All I'm going to say is go and watch it. So let's cover a bit of the basics. Coco is the brand new Disney Pixar film, which follows the little Mexican boy Miguel around his journey around Dia de los Muertos, Day of the Dead, to discover his ancestry and his love for music. And where exactly does it come from? Now, this movie really hits home for a lot of people, and I'm going to get into that later, but this film is incredible, from the imagery to the colours to the animation, the music, everything about it, and Disney really did their research with this one. It is one of the first ever films to have an all-Latino cast, which is amazing. I'm so glad they went for an all-Latino cast. It wouldn't have been right if they casted non-Latino people for a Latin American film. I think they've done like a perfect job of finding the perfect little boy for Miguel. Anthony Gonzalez, he voiced him amazingly. You also have Gael Garcia Bernal and Alana Ubach in this film as well. I love this cast. They all sounded amazing. It sounded so rich, so genuine, so Mexican. And everything that they did with this film was so clever. When you watch it, you will start to link a lot of things together. You will also learn a lot of things about the Mexican culture, especially here in the UK and Europe, where Mexican culture isn't exactly that prominent. We tend to be led by a lot more of the Spanish, because it's the European nation. And seeing what it's like in actual mainland Mexico over on the West Coast for us was just such an amazing, culturally enriching experience for me. Another point that I wanted to add about the cast is that the fact that they have used a fully Mexican cast for this, like I said, already adds to like the organic material and how genuine this is. This is kind of like that time when they made that dedication film towards the Mexican star Selena. Even though it was Jennifer Lopez, and yes, she is of Latin descent, she's Puerto Rican, she's not Mexican, so there was like that really big like uproar in the Mexican community about how they chose a Puerto Rican girl that doesn't necessarily showcase the Mexican culture for Selena, who is a Mexican native. So the fact that they have used the fully Mexican cast in Coco just adds to the authenticity to it, and that is something that I absolutely love about the film. So let's jump straight in with the animation. We all know that Disney and Disney Pixar as an entity produce incredible animation, probably the best animation the world has ever seen, and it is just continuing to get better. Pixar animation is so different, and it's so out there, so culturally specific, especially for this film as it was based on the Mexican culture. You can see that the amount of detail that they went to, the research that they went to into Mexican culture really went out into the animation. The colours were visually stunning. Like if you look at Dia de los Muertos, like actual memorabilia and stuff, and actual paintings of the skulls, it's so full of colour, it's so rich, it's so vibrant, and the colours that they used in this animation were absolutely stunning. I kind of want to see it in 3D just to see how like all the orange leaves scatter around and all the colours like in their most vivid form. The animation of like the cobbled streets, like the architecture, everything was so incredible. It sounds like a total cliche to say that Pixar animation is incredible, but we all know it is. That's why it's a cliche. It doesn't just stop at the animation, like the characters themselves are so culturally rich. The amount of, and the fact that they went for an all Latin cast as well really adds to that, because they know the culture, they live the culture. To bring that to life in a Pixar character, it was just so genuine. There was nothing artificial about this film. For me anyway, like it was so organic. Even as an outsider watching it, like you might not get all of the references the first time, or you might not get what they said the first time when they said like a little Spanish phrase, you still feel that it's organic, watching it as an outsider anyway. Like Miguel himself, there was so much emotional attachment to Miguel, like understanding why he wants to live his dream and why he wants to see where his musical culture comes from. Like, and then the other characters as well, like there's so many twists and turns, and like some of the characters you feel a little bit more for, but then later on you don't. It's just such an amazing culturally artistic journey that I was so proud to be on, and it was so worth the wait. I don't want to delve too much into the characters because then it's going to be giving a lot away, but like Miguel, Hector, Mama Imelda, like all of them were such standout characters. Even Ernesto de la Cruz and Dante, who I didn't think I'd appreciate. I really appreciate the dog Dante. There's so much to learn about these characters, and you'll come to love each of them separately. I couldn't actually pick a favourite character because so many of them were so done and they all fitted the story perfectly. So go and watch it, form your opinion, and let me know down in the comments what you think of the characters and who your favourite is if you have one. So I'm going to put in a little bit of what I think of the film and like my general thoughts. Overall, watching it, it was absolutely amazing. Like I said, it was a massive cultural journey for me. I've got so many friends over in California who are of Mexican descent, and to really understand their culture and to see it on the big screen for like the masses to see, it's so good to see that such a culture like that is going to start to get a lot more appreciation. And this is what I love that Disney is doing, and I hope they continue doing, is sharing a lot more cultures with the world. They kind of started a few years ago. They included like Moana and like Big Hero 6. So you kind of start to see a little bit of a cultural flavour, but now I think Coco is the one that's really going to start it all. I want them to do more, and me watching it, coming from like a really family orientated Greek family, you kind of see like where Coco hits home. Especially for me, I feel like the Spanish and the Greek culture is very similar anyway, especially discussing this with all of my friends. Like, we're very family orientated, like we're very set in our ways, and like it's very difficult to like break out of that family tradition, and seeing that really hit home for me, which is why in the last 30 minutes of the film I was just bawling my eyes out. It is such a heart-wrenching tearjerker. Like, if you don't cry, I don't know, you will cry. It is so emotional, and it was really heart-wrenching for me to watch. Like I said, it is coming from the Mexican culture, so I feel like Disney may have thought that it was gonna alienate a lot of like other cultures and you weren't gonna like relate to it. But honestly, the Mexican culture is very much family orientated, as are many other cultures. So watching it, you will relate to it, and they've just done a perfect job with this film. Disney always know how to grab your heartstrings, and they know how to make you cry, and this is no exception. Like, even though this is a Pixar film, Pixar is known to make you cry anyway, but I feel like even though it's a Pixar film, it could still belong in the Disney Classics category. If Disney released this as their next classic, I could totally see it, because it just has that Disney magic sprinkled everywhere. Honestly, it's no surprise that Coco won Best Animated Feature and Best Original Song at the Golden Globe Awards and the 23rd Critics' Choice Awards. Like, Remember Me is such an amazing song. It will stick in your head, every single version of it in this film. And like, just the message behind it and how culturally appropriate it is, it deserved that Best Animated Feature. So I hope it gets something at the Oscars as well. Like, it does deserve it. It's like that heart-wrenching film that I think the Oscar community will appreciate. But yeah, I feel like I've rambled on so much, but there's so much to say, and without giving it away and not having any like spoilers, like, I'm just gonna stop here. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. It's out in the UK this Friday on the 19th of January, so definitely go and check it out. Definitely go and watch it. It's 100% worth it. It will really make you cry, and let me know down in the comments if you go and see it. So I will see you guys really soon, okay? Bye!